It's 9 minutes past 9 o'clock, the 23rd day of November 2024. Welcome aboard the Big Seat on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. Good morning. My name is Besigye. We are on air and online on www.cruisefm.com/stream. Cruise TV for YouTube and TikTok for all the social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on X, 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. To be a part of the conversation this morning, you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big seat starts now and goes up to 11 a.m. And this particular edition is a very interesting turn of events that we saw in what happened in Nairobi when security forces arrested and literally brought back Dr. Besigye and Obed Lutale. In the country, they were lined before the General Court Martial. It's a conversation. The topic is already in our social media handles. You can give us a feel of what you think about the relationship between Kenya and Uganda going by this turn of events. Now, before we go into the topic of discussion, let me give you a rewind of the week and we get this started. Now, President Museveni pardoned the 19 members of the National Unity Platform who are convicted of trickery and unlawful possession of ammunition under the UPDF Act. Among those that were given pardon was Olivia Lutaya, who was the face of these that were arrested in 2020 prior to the 2021 general election. And Article 121 1A of the Constitution gives the President the mandate or the power, upon advice of the Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, to pardon individuals that have been convicted of any offenses. Now, we know certainly that these pleaded guilty to the offenses and they were sentenced to about 3 months, but the President has gone ahead to pardon them, so they've not been able to serve the entire 3 months sentence that they were handed. But they were not the first. We know that a couple of people have been able to benefit of this particular article of the Constitution. The former Prime Minister of Toro, Katuramu, was able to get pardon from the President. We know the former Minister of Defense in Obote's government, Honorable Wakasisi, was able to benefit of the same presidential pardon. So that's what the responsibility is for the President. Now, President Museveni laid a foundation stone for the construction of the first historic standard gauge railway line that has the capacity to transport over 1,000 tons of cargo at once. The first phase of the project will create more than 600,000 jobs, and the project is funded fully by the African Development Bank and will be completed in about 48 months. And also, something that is very saddening, the Supreme Court Justice Dr. Esther Timbotsache is living in exile, fearing for her life due to the ongoing threats, according to the documents in a series of emails written by a Washington-based law firm, Lovington and Barling, LLP. And we know certainly that the state of this very land justice started from that presidential petition of Chagulanyi versus President Yoweri Museveni and the Electoral Commission, where she had the dissenting judgment. We know that following that, she had to deliver it in the darkness because she was not given that opportunity to read her judgment. It was a solo bench kind of thing that happened, and since then she has never been at peace with the administration of the judiciary. We only hope that justice is served, because she has a couple of occasions, both in the Constitutional Court and the Supreme Court. We don't know whether she will be able to have any date for hearing for any of her matters. But we also know that she wrote to the President seeking an early retirement, of which the President rejected her bid to have early retirement. She fled to the United States, where she's seeking refuge there. We shall follow through of what happens from all that. Now, President Museveni also this week issued a stern warning to the regional police commanders, prohibiting the granting of police bond to individuals accused of embezzling funds of the parish development model, and also called on the Chief Justice to have the judiciary deny bail to the accused. If you've been accused of embezzling PDM funds, the President is saying you should be denied bail. and the police should not be able to grant you any bond there. Then the Kenya's government said it was investigating how a prominent Ugandan opposition leader was spirited out of Nairobi amid ongoing criticism that the country has failed to protect foreign dissidents on its soil. Now, we know certainly this week, for the very first time, we've seen Dr. Besigye being arrested a couple of times. But for the first time, he was arrested on different jurisdiction. He was in Nairobi, where he had gone on Saturday to attend a book launch by Martha Karua, who is the NAC leader political party in Kenya. But on checking in his apartment, he was arrested and driven back to Uganda, lying before the General Court March on Wednesday. And we had the statements from the wife, who is the UN AIDS executive director, calling on the state to stop prosecuting and persecuting the husband because he's a civilian who is not supposed to be tried in the military court. But we also know that the courts have made a pronouncement in as far as if at all you do things that make you to get in confinement with the military stores, then it's possible that you'll be tried under military law. And that is for us this morning, and we need to get to hear from you on the conversation. Is already on our social media. You get a chance to call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. November love to every person that is catching the show. Let me welcome the panel. Amon Robarema is a member of the Forum for Democratic Change. Apollo Tumusime is a member of the Alliance for National Transformation. Deus Didit Bwenje is an advocate and lawyer, and Katamba Mvunya, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement. Good morning, Amon, and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, Bana moderator and listeners, and actually viewers. My name is Esgoma Amon Rubalema, Secretary for Works, FDSNEC. I come from Kalamurani Ngoma Kabra Town Council, Wampara District. I also take a pleasure hotel this singular honor to thank the listeners of the Big Set for the contribution they made when our friend Odious was coming out of prison. And that encouraged me more to know that we have good followers who take care of what is happening within the country. Thank you.
All right, welcome, Rubarema Amon there. Good morning, Apollo Tumusime, and welcome to the Big Set.
Thank you very much, moderator. Good morning, listeners of Cruise FM, and those who are viewing us on the online platform. My name is Apollo Tumusime, and I'm the spokesperson for Alliance for National Transformation in Chirora District. Mr. Moderator, today there is one of our comrades, Asimwe Nelson Bashija, who has also been hosted here before. His wedding today. His dear wife Daisy. I wish them a colorful wedding. I think Comrade Peter Parker is on the team that is trying to make sure that marriage goes on well. We wish him the very best. Mr. Moderator, I think this week there was a pronouncement by Honorable Matia Kaseija on the regulation for money lenders about the interest rate being capped to 2.8%, and that is 33% annually. Well, there is something to discuss about that, because we all know that circles have been here, and their lending rate is between 2 and 3% per month, but people still go for quick money that has a little bit higher interest rate for reasons that the country needs to address. And however much this regulation has been put forward, but then if things to do with improving economic welfare of the Ugandans have not been addressed, then people will still have to go for these quick loans, because the process of assessment is kind of faster compared to the process when you go to the commercial bank or to the circle, and it is easy. They don't ask a lot of things for that. So I really think we need to discuss that somehow, and then the country also needs to address the challenges that are facing the people in terms of their economic well-being, so that we can be able to thrive. Thank you very much.
All right. Welcome, Apollo Tumsime there. Yes, Katamba Mufunya. Stephen, good morning and welcome to the big set.
Good morning, our colleague Mr. Wanyaji, the host of the day, and I want to welcome the listeners of Cruise FM specifically for this show. Mr. Wanyaji, I want to, for us, we come from up country, and rains in the villages are too much. We are really feeling it. As farmers, it is the time for farmers who beans are trying to harvest. Because of the shortage of sun, our beans are rotting around the compound and yards. So I feel sorry for you, people facing the same problem as mine. Number two is roads. You know, almost 80% of village roads, upcountry roads are maram. We are facing challenges of, again, rain washing down all the roads, and now reaching the common man now, it's not very easy. Number three, the country is in a high gear political mood. Election is nearing and everybody is hot. The people that contend to go and contest, look for political positions, are very busy organizing. And in our villages, everybody is wow. People are very busy in bars. They are enjoying the fruits of the people who wants votes. And now, see, democracy. All of that is the tip of democracy.
Okay.
That is in this country.
Thank you. Good morning, Councillor Bwenja, and
Yes,
welcome to the big set.
I'm all right. Of course, I want to start off from the fact that that a judge of the Supreme Court is in exile. It is an embarrassment, of course, to the state of Uganda, and we should not forget that one other judge, Honorable Justice Mugambe, is in jail in the UK. So it is a whole comedy of mistakes of the regime. And so I want to ask the state to do all it can to ensure that she gets bail, and then they resolve the dilemma of Dr. Kisachi. Then, of course, I think it was just a couple of days ago, the brother of the deputy mayor of Kampala, who was gunned down I think it was in a robbery. Of course, that shows that there's a rise in the spate of violence, especially gun violence in the city, and of course in Uganda as a state. So I call upon the security officers to rein in on the people who are the people who are responsible, not to rush to put them out of action, but subject them to the process of the law.
Okay. Let's stop for a break. When we come back, the conversation will get started. November Love, and I will be able to give out some couple of goodies there. We are in Kasese tonight at Elephant Lounge. Come and be a part of the celebration of love and the 13 years of being the best in the region. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, we're back. It's 30 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. Good morning. My name is Besigye Banyaji. Catch the show online on www.cruisefm.com/stream and Cruise TV for YouTube and TikTok. Just go type in on your tube handle Cruise TV. You'll be able to watch seamlessly like that. It's a TV radio kind of arrangement there, all the way up to 11 a.m. The conversation this morning is on the arrest of Dr. Kizza Besigye in Nairobi with Obed Lutale, who are charged before the General Court Martial on possession of 2 pistols and 8 rounds of ammunition, and on allegations that he's been holding different meetings in Geneva, in Nairobi, and in Greece to kind of create instability and threaten national security. And it's not the first time that we see the state arresting Besigye. I think it's on record that he's the most arrested man in the Guinness World Book of Record. I don't know how that goes, but nevertheless, we know that the wife made a statement before the media yesterday on the visit to Luzira, where where Dr. Besigye is remanded. And we ask this morning, how do you think this will affect the relationship between Kenya and Uganda, knowing that Ugandan security agencies went to Nairobi and picked up Dr. Besigye and brought him back to Uganda to face the law? And with me in studio is Amon Rubarima. He belongs to the Forum for Democratic Change. Now it has a new faction which is promoting a political party that is yet to register, called the PFF. Apollo Tumusime belongs to the Alliance for the National Transformation. Council Bwenje Dosdidit is a panelist here on the Big Seat, is a lawyer. And Stephen Katamba Muvunya, he's a member of the National Resistance Movement, a councillor from Chitagwenda there. And I want to ask you to be a part of the conversation by sending us a message on what you think about this particular topic. I'll be able to read some of the messages. But you call in and contribute to the conversation on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let me start with Apollo Tumusime. And when you saw first the news feeds where they were scared of where Dr. Besigye had disappeared from when he had gone to Nairobi because they traced him and they couldn't find him. That was from Saturday, and it was literally about Tuesday, Monday, and the nation didn't know where Dr. Besigye was, and the Kenyan government equally wasn't giving any information in as far as knowing where Dr. Besigye was. And there was already a scare of whether he could be alive or not, but that was settled when we heard from the wife, who is now the executive director of UNAIDS, who said that the husband had been driven from Nairobi and taken to a military detention facility in Uganda. What does this mean first in how far will this mean for the Uganda-Kenya relations, in how easy a security agency can go to Nairobi from Uganda and pick an accused person and bring him to be aligned before a military court? What does that mean for you?
Thank you very much, Vanyaji. First of all, it was very shocking and a little bit strange to hear the disappearance of Dr. Kizza Besigye. Of course, the person of Besigye is a person of high caliber, and he has been in the face of Ugandan politics for a very long time. So, as Ugandans, we are so much interested to know the whereabouts of Dr. Kizza Besigye. Luckily, in a short while, the wife came up to tell us that he has been driven back to Uganda and is being kept in a military detention. The circumstances under which he was arrested and then driven back to the country, that is where the discussion lies. I've heard that Honorable Yasu Kwagu has been to Nairobi yesterday and the day before, trying to assess the situation, understand how it happened. There have been some statements. I've read General Otafile's statement that he called the immigration in Uganda, and he also confirmed with the immigration in Kenya, and both sides confirmed to him that Dr. Besigye never possessed a gun when he was leaving the country and when he was checking in Kenya. So when they find him with a pistol in Nairobi, I don't know how it matters Uganda. That is also something that we leave for the court. But of course, we know we have been in this situation before. We've seen guns being paraded physically. That Mr. Chagulanyi, you were found with a gun, with rounds of ammunition and other items in a hotel in Arua, and just in a blink of an eye, the charges they are just taken off from Honorable Chagulanyi. So we know that this is not about law; it is still about political persecution. Now to Kenya, President Ruto, I don't know what he is turning into. President Museveni has been here for long. It is also funny that he has worked with President Arap Moi. He has also worked with President Mwai Kibaki. He has worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he's working with President William Ruto. And a country with such kind of strong system and democracy, now we get one person to turn it into something else. We have just had issues in Kenya about the uprising of the Gen Z, confrontations, confronting government here and there on a few cases, and then President William Ruto allows to be used by the government of Uganda to do something that can cause seemingly a similar situation, a similar uprising that happened in Kenya. Well, this is so unfortunate. I know Council of Wenges will guide us about what happens when someone is in another country and then is suspected of committing a crime. I've read that it is either through two situations, so like extradition and then deportation. For the case of extradition, is like this country is going to request, Uganda has to request Kenya to arrest Dr. Kiza Besigye, or a person who is there, if this person has been suspected of committing a crime. That is the extradition treaty that has to be signed between both countries, and the other country also has to accept. But there are also chances that a country can say no. The other country that is hosting that person. For example, if there has been a history of violation of human rights, we know that this person, when we give this person back to you, there will be his human rights might be violated somehow, and then they can turn down the application of the other country, and then they turn. So I think the government of Kenya should have thought through so many things and taken a decision on whether to offer Dr. Besigye back to Uganda or not. Now, here in Uganda, we have, out of the 17 million refugees, we have about actually 48,000 asylum seekers. These are people who are being persecuted in their countries, and then they run to Uganda to seek asylum here. And we have welcomed them, we have hosted them, and some of them are from the neighboring countries. Like, yes, this was not an asylum. What I'm saying is, when someone is seeking for a refugee, this person should feel comfortable. I don't want to say that President Dr. Besigye had gone to seek an asylum in Kenya or whatever. But we know, in terms of diplomacy and international relations, we have seen in several cases, for example, when you're in Kampala and you think the government is looking for you, they want to arrest you, you can rush to an embassy. You just enter like US embassy. For them to arrest you from the US embassy, they have to first call America, and then they contact Washington to take a decision on whether this person who has entered the embassy should be handed over to Uganda government. So it is, first of all, it is unfortunate. The cases that have been put before him I also know, because this is something that happened in 2001. So many cases have been put against him. He has been arrested so many times. But I want to encourage him, and also the Ugandans who love to see this government changing, and also to wish to see us being better, to stand with Dr. Kiza Besigye. We know just in we
Okay.
pray that around when he returns to court, he's going to be granted bail, and we pray that he's going to be granted bail, and soon we shall also see that these charges will be removed against him. That's what I believe in. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you. Let me bring in Council Bonja here for a purpose. We know certainly that under international law, states have responsibilities to protect citizens over other countries that are on their soil. And in this case, there is also a provision within the law that allows the state to have an accused person of any offenses to be arrested from another country and brought back for trial. And this is not very different, if at all. The state of Uganda thinks that one Besigye and one Obed have committed particular offenses and they are running to Nairobi or Geneva or whatever that it is. They can be brought back to face the law. And this is certainly one of the ways that we can have the accused persons, get justice. In this case, we saw security agencies, cooperate with the Kenyan state and have the two accused persons brought to face the law. Was this, you think, in due process?
I don't want to to preempt the decision of court as to the preliminary objections that may arise in the course of the hearing of the case. But the truth be told, Uganda is a funny state. It's a country which is led by zombies. If I say zombie, I mean a living dead. See, the UPDF is an organ of the executive arm of the government. The Defense Forces Council is an organ of the UPDF. Actually, it is the highest organ of the UPDF. But among the members of the UPDF Council, you have people who died. You have the Honorary Brigadier Elia Kategaya. You have the General Eri Tumwine. These are people who have long died. But they are still statutory members of the UPDF because they are statutory members of the High Command. Now, where you have dead people making decisions for the UPDF, then don't expect anything better. And also one of the members of the High Command, who is also the President of Uganda and is the chairperson of the Defense Forces Council, is there in two capacities, both as Museveni and also as the President of the Republic of Uganda. Yes. No, actually, he is not a member of the High Command. He is one of the senior officers, the 15, I think, senior officers who were at that rank by the 26th of January of 1986. So now, where you have people who died, but they have the ability to make decisions for the governance of the country, it is even possible that they are being paid. And I think so. It is high time that the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda exercised vision and amended the UPDF to remove people to remove all the 21 members of the High Command and the ones who were senior officers by that date, because it means that not only are they members of the UPDF for life, no, they are also members of the UPDF forever, whether they are dead or not. And of course that is also bad. So back to the question of extradition and the deportation. Of course, you cannot say that what the government of Kenya did was wrong, because we do not have the facts to ascertain as to how Dr. KB came from Kenya up to the Republic of Uganda. And of course, we need, I think, a comprehensive statement from the state of Kenya as well as the state of Uganda. But one thing is for certain, that Kenya is no longer a safe state for the people of Uganda, because it is more or less an extension of the Republic of Uganda.
You've actually done the listener a big injustice. I thought as a lawyer you would help the listener understand the process of having an accused person taken from another country to this country, and he had given you a reference that you will help the listener understand that entire process. Perhaps starting from there, it will be clearer.
I'm trying to stay a minute to be straightforward and not to conflict with the rule against sub judice.
Okay, let's stop for a break. We'll be back. And I have Stephen Mufunya talk about this particular topic. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
omwami wanje nubasa kunshendekereza nkazahirwa ro kutunga buhereza bwo kubayira uruzaro
ego mchana ninkushagara kunka naba ndiyo ninza kureba umupira mu kibanda cya Paul hati ni muringo cyo gukwenda kukozesa
aha niwe ninkunda koso muringo gwakakato ako kwetera
ha iwe ninkumanya noti nempituruzo
nga akahito zakana kachi tukari kushasha nabano shanko baharaho kunka
It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
All right, we back. It's 15 minutes to 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. My name is Besigye Banyaji. The Big Seat is on. And we're happy to be talking about a very good topic this morning. And we're discussing the elements of arresting Dr. Besigye from Nairobi, where he's accused of holding different meetings that intended to destabilize national security. And now it's the time that I give back to the listeners. November Love, we are celebrating 13 years of being the biggest in the region. We at Elephant Lounge today in Kasese. I'll be part of the team that will come to bring the love. But for now, I want to give out a rechargeable radio that's out of FGR Electronics to a lucky listener. Call in and let's get to hear from you, and you'll be able to win yourself a rechargeable radio on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in, you win yourself a rechargeable radio courtesy of FJ Electronics. Now you need to discover quality electronics at FJ Electronics. We have everything you need, from Bluetooth speakers and rechargeable lamps to kettles, TVs, sockets, fans, and a wide range of bulbs, all at good prices. Now visit FJ Electronics on Mbaguta Street, Mbara Shopping Center. The shop is number 15. Or you can be able to call in on 786-100-031. Let me repeat the number for the listener there, on 0786-100-031. Call in if at all you haven't gotten an opportunity to win yourself a November Love. November Love.
Hello.
Yes, speak louder.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
November Love.
November Love.
What's your name?
My name is Tumtejerize Mishash.
Mishash Tumtejerize.
Yeah.
Have you won yourself any goodies?
No, not yet.
Okay, where are you?
And now I'm in Mbarara.
You're in Barra, very good. Let me ask you a couple of questions and you will win yourself a rechargeable radio courtesy of FJ Electronics. Which show happens before the big set?
The show that happens before the big city.
Yes. You have no idea. Call in and win yourself a rechargeable radio on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. November Love.
November Love.
Yes, what's your name?
Atumanyire Arthur.
Atumanyire.
Atumanyire Arthur.
Arthur, eh? Yes, where are you?
Bushenyi Rugando Rwampara.
Rugando Rwampara.
Yes.
Okay. Which show happens before the big set?
Wanji?
Which show happens before the big set?
Nabaruze by'imizano.
Let me get a listener to win yourself a rechargeable radio on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. November Love.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
November Love.
Yes, November Love.
Have you won yourself anything?
No.
What's your name?
This is Tuinomjisha Emmanuel from Nyamitanga.
Yes, Tuinomjisha Emmanuel.
Yes.
What show happens before the big set?
Baby Dosh.
Yes. What is the show called?
The show.
Okay, it's called the Urban Breakfast.
Yes, Urban Breakfast.
Okay.
Baby Dosh.
Okay. Now, there's a show, the Runyankore version of the big set. It happens on Sunday. What time does it happen and who hosts that show?
From 12 to 2.
What is the name of the show?
Nyanji.
Who does the Nyanji?
John Tulinawe.
Get me your number and you win yourself this rechargeable radio. Get me your number.
0700
0700
69
69
0710.
0710.
Yes.
Congratulations, Emmanuel Tuinomjisha. In Nyamitanga, you win yourself a radio courtesy of FJ Electronics.
November Love Cruise FM.
No.
Thank you.
November Love. We are at Elephant Lounge this evening in Kasese to celebrate the love, and thank you for all those that turned up in Kazo. The numbers were amazing. I'm pretty sure that you won yourself something. The t-shirts, the capes, the umbrellas, everything that we come with, we give you back. Now let me bring in Stephen. Stephen, the state that you support very much, that is governed by the NRM, arrested Dr. Besigye and charged him in a military court just this week. Don't you think this is going to rub you in a very wrong way as the state that you cannot allow a person follow due process in how you get them from another country and take them to a civilian court rather than a military court?
You see, in all that is going on, I have seen that the Ugandans are lawbreakers. All of us, almost 90% of countrymen and women break the law almost every day. Even us when we are here. One of my colleagues have now broken the law. My land friend, Council Bwenje, you posed a question to him to narrate and explain in case he was a lawyer standing in the shoes of Honorable Rukwago to defend Besigye. What could we say? What could we tell the public? You know how he dodged the question and went into things that is not appearing important to the country. Because when you say that this country is led by the zombies, the zombos, the people who are dead, so is that statement real? Because the countrymen and women listen this radio, they want to hear the solutions of the event that is happening in this country now. When you bring the issues that do not corroborate,
you ask a lawyer to help the listener understand the entire extradition process, and he says the country is led by
what is
zombies.
wrong and what is right.
Yes.
And he brings things that are not connected, just breaking the law.
Yes.
So what is happening in this country is the people that people would think that appear to be on top are letting us Ugandans down. Because when we tackle the issue critically, Besigye is a diplomat. He's a big man, and sincerely, may I respect him. However much our members of opposition abuse and do contrary to exactly what we think are not good, but they are brothers and sisters, and we respect them most of the time. That's why when you call us, you call opposition, we come and sit here, hold the same microphones, and discuss issues.
Yes.
But my stand is Besigye, as a diplomat, as a leading opposition member in this country, we respect him. I've continued to listen to the statement of Kizza Besigye advising Ugandans not to engage themselves in elective politics. Since 2021, in fact since 2016, Besigye has never believed that this country, Uganda, can be changed by electing leaders. If you don't believe, which alternative do you give to Ugandans? Because Mr. Besigye, if I don't believe in something as a leader, I must give an alternative. Did Kizza Besigye give an alternative to this country? How they can change this government?
Yes, he has.
Which one?
He has clearly.
Which one?
He has
by defying.
He has
by defying
yes,
the government.
Yes.
By defying. When you defy, what happens? When you defy, what happens? Because you bring everything into impossible. Now, is that one leader? See, a leader, one of the qualities of leader, you must give an alternative. So if you are a leader and you cannot give an alternative, you are fake. So now, I am not contradicting myself.
Yes, Varima.
So this gentleman is just appearing funny. You can't respect someone who can contradict himself. So are you telling listeners that you are contradicting yourself?
No, I'm talking about the behavior.
Yes.
I'm talking about the behavior as I come to the conclusion of the topic.
Yes.
I am talking about the behaviors of leaders that have been behaving in this country. So they bring tension and fear into the public. that in any case, if there is no election, what is going to happen? Number two, there has been rumors, of course rumors, that the way the recent Kenya Genzi, what happened in Kenya, people went on the roads and demonstrated. What happened in Sudan when they removed Bashir? The opposition people have been organizing to do the same here. So when you declare yourself that you are not engaging into elective politics and you are an opposition leader, what do you think the government should do?
Katamba Mufonya,
yes.
Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is a citizen of this country, was invited in Nairobi for a book launch, and he checked into his hotel room. Security forces that are alleged to be belonging to Uganda went to Kenya and arrested Besigye and brought him back here.
You know,
help us understand how all the illegalities that you want to associate with Besigye are connected to denying him to be at an opportunity for a book launch on an invitation that Kenya would be given to any citizen of East Africa.
Kenya and Uganda has been at peace since time immemorial, and there have been bilateral relationships between these two countries, and such things have not happened severally. It is recent. I remember one time there was a man, an opposition leader who lived in Uganda. He was called Obongo. He stayed here, and we also had some members of this country staying in Kenya. And when these two countries sat, because there were sons between their flesh, and when they sat, the conclusion was this country hands over their people this country, and this country also hands the people to their people to Kenya, and it happened. And nothing happened. Therefore, there has been a bilateral relationship between two countries. What is happening is this. Yes, all this we are hearing is an allegation, because the message is appearing to court anytime, due process. We hear that Besigye was in Kenya for a book launch, and he was arrested. So far, the statement that's on the table does not mention who arrested Besigye. Either is it Uganda or Kenya.
No, Kenya. The Kenyan government has actually come out to say we are investigating how Ugandan forces came to arrest.
They are investigating to know who might have arrested.
Let's hope for a commercial break. When we come back,
I want to say,
will give us the inside story of what the FDC thinks about this particular arrest of Dr. Besigye in Nairobi. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We're back. It's 3 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. I want to appreciate you all for being a part of the conversation this morning. We are talking about the arrest and extradition of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obed Lutale, who are arrested in Nairobi. With me in studio is Rubarema Amon, Apollo Tumsime, Deusdedit Bwenje, and Muvunya Katamba. And the conversation is on our social media. Come and go to Facebook and X and 912 Cruise FM and give us your feedback on that particular topic of discussion. Yes, Amon, on the arrest of Dr. Besigye, first of all, I'm very sure that as members of his own party, you're used to Besigye being in and out of jail for a couple of reasons. But now, being Besigye at 67, did you think that Besigye would be involved in what the allegations of the state are? Subversive activities, mobilizing nations to create instability in national security? No, I'll give you after.
Thank you, Bwana Moderator and listeners. You know, I have a saying across that once a teacher, you die a teacher. Once a priest, you die a priest. But when we come to politics, once a rebel becomes a good leader. I don't know how it changes at the end of the day. So the rebel gymnastics we I think across Africa and shows us that the rebellism still uphold. One, Besigye was invited like any other Ugandan or any other person by one Martha Karua, who is an opposition leader in Kenya, to a book launch. Besigye checked in, went for another meeting. Where the meeting he left a taxi man waiting for him to take him back to where he had booked in Nairobi. The taxi waited up to 4 a.m. seeing no response from Dr. Besigye, whether he's coming back or not. The taxi man went a very disappointed man. Now, I have a simple question to Ugandans and my friend Katamba. If a government that has the biggest share of the budget in the military of close to 9 trillion fear only 8 ammunitions of a pistol in a concoction and in another country, are we safe? And you use your slogan securing the future of which people now? Because I believe listeners can tell, even a well-guarded house, 8 rounds of ammunition and a pistol can't scare them.
No, but Rubarema, the state cannot watch an individual have access to tools of coercion that are a monopoly of only the state because they are.
You are bringing the monopoly. You are bringing the monopoly. I'm coming to that.
Yes.
The monopoly. Fine, the monopoly. Come to the monopoly. A monopoly in which country? Because much as Uganda could have been a signatory to many so-called agreements, but does not hold the universal law. Because when the 36 were kidnapped in Kenya through a seminar, you saw what happened. Some of them, their documents are still at the immigration offices, both in Kenya and Uganda. You see, it's like now Banyaji calling me to the Cruise FM. I come in and enter. Before I even sit, someone lifts me out, take me to police, even before I've said anything, and now start concocting cases. For us who have been in political issues, have seen such a concoctions. You know, that's when in most cases when you visit a doctor in Luzira, he tells you you're psychologically prepared for. Now this gentleman is talking about doctor being against the elections. But Banyaji, I mean Bwana Katamba, if a first district called Chiruhula, people can go on streets over General Mujenyi versus the current MP elections, Fred Besigye versus Kajwenje, where elections caused the death of close to 1 million Ugandans in 1980. And you think that is an election because you elected a councillor and you know how you went through? So we have to speak the truth. We have to tell Ugandans the truth. They know the kind of election they go through. We are going into an election time, and you see how people are, how people hearts are like. I was asking Bwana Banyaji, much as it's of the topic, my mind kept on distancing in an elections where I find a member of parliament uses close to not less than 500 million. So Mr. Katamba gets his 500 million, goes to parliament, and is beaten like an nursery kid in Uganda. And you say those are elections, and you call them elections? Now, when you were talking, I also had information though. You see, the problem with seven days is the application. I mean, the selective application of a rule by law other than a rule of law. For the first time, I saw the court martial well regarded, like it has been a case where Brigadier General Freeman was not free in his seat. And where his boys and ladies and men in military fatigue were taking notes as if they were in class. I'm hard on evil, listeners. I'm hard on evil. If my boss or my friend, my comrade had committed a crime, let him be taken to the due processes of law, but not simply concocting those funny cases that makes us look like we are under zombies, like my colleague has said. Because Kenya is an independent nation, the Republic of Kenya, is it the Democratic Republic of Kenya? Something. The systems are working. Actually, it has prompted the cartoonists to put up a map of Uganda where Kenya is more of a district. And you think that makes our relationship stay better? I mean, be in a better place? Meaning, to all listeners, now Kenya is another serious hostile country for Ugandan to visit.
Okay.
Because our friends, Banyaja started thanking the listeners of the big seat for their contribution. Odios had gone for a seminar in Kenya, and together with 36 members, they were arrested and they brought back. Even I'm telling you, up to now, their documents are still at the immigration desk. Okay. So, as doctor said, as I wind up, when they arrested him, they put him in a Kenya van. They started speaking Swahili. When they reached Uganda, same people only changed the language and the number plate. Now they started speaking Luganda and Phonetic Swahili from the border, the Besigye border. And now someone who went through Entebbe airport. That means our airport is not safe again, because he went through airport, checked in, was checked very thoroughly well. He went up to Kenya, was checked thoroughly well. If he had a pistol, why didn't they arrest him at the Entebbe airport? If he had one.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
There are things that my colleague is forgetting. That I can live here up to Kenya without a weapon. When I reach Kenya, I get it. I meet somebody with the guns and I am given the guns. That one is forgetting that the crime might have happened in Kenya. Somebody would have delivered the gun to Dr. Besigye when he's in Kenya.
But Katamba, yes. Since you're defending government, particularly this, Mr. Apollo Tumusime opened up by saying we know certainly that years back the state paraded guns that were found in a hotel room of Robert Kyagulanyi Center in Arua. And the state has never availed those guns again to prosecute Bobby Wine of illegal possession of firearms that are a monopoly of the state. Isn't it now that Ugandans will say, wait a minute, isn't this the same state that accused an opposition leader of possessing guns? That case has never kicked off to this day. But is not shy away to even create another situation where another opposition leader is caught up with guns.
You see, for me, and some of us have no problem when a crime suspect is arrested and put under investigations. Then eventually, if he gains back his freedom, we have no problem. We thank God for that. The case wasn't there, wasn't committed. That's what we want. In a very judicial service, like now, I trust something is going to happen. And if Besigye didn't commit any case in Kenya, it's going to be free. And being in Uzira,
if he committed a case in Kenya, it would be against Kenyan law. What would be Uganda's business if at all he committed a case in Kenya?
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that we need to wait and confirm who arrested Besigye. Because now, if there is a bilateral, very good relationship between these two countries, you cannot leave Uganda and commit a case in Kenya and you are left free.
Okay,
so now, another thing I want to confirm is that An election,
Mm.
an election of this country is a sign of freedom and democracy. And now, my colleague from the new party and a strong support of Besigye, I want to inform him that the one of the roles of parliament is to make laws and change bad laws into good laws. I believe he understands that soon the Minister of Justice is preparing the reforms, the things that are supposed to change, and one of them is the money. He's talking about the money.
Okay.
That Katamba having money.
Let me bring in.
And the
Okay.
laws of elections.
Okay. Let
I
me.
think after him, you had said I should come in.
Mm.
Let me say.
Yes.
Before Wenje,
Oh.
in 2016, court gave close to 7 electoral reforms
Recommendations.
recommendations. Did this zombie government work upon them?
Okay. Yes. Wait.
I realize that there is a lot of, I think, harassment on my part.
Because
talking
you're
about
held
the
at a
state.
higher pedestal.
Yes,
Being
exactly.
a lawyer,
Yes.
we expect
Yes.
better.
Yes, and of course I know you expect me to talk about the Vienna Conventions, the extradition. Act
Not
and so forth.
necessarily, though. Mm.
But all those don't matter. Under international law, it does not matter how you came from the other state to this state. As long as you are in court, it is immaterial whether you are kidnapped or not. Okay? So whether the law on extradition was followed or not, that is inconsequential. Under international law, as long as there is an understanding between these two states, whether you are produced in the court of that state or not, whether there is a warrant for you or not,
Doesn't that,
whether you are
as a
brought in
lawyer, where
coffin
you
or
see
a
it,
box, doesn't matter.
don't you think now it nullifies the essency
Yeah.
of the entire extradition
Yes,
process?
yes, because you see, under international law, international law is not binding. It is a product of consent of states. So as long as Kenya and Uganda
But it's also not
consent
true
that
that
Wenje
it
should-
is not
should
true
be
that
brought
international
in,
law is not binding.
it is not binding.
It is binding
No,
on states.
if it was
But
binding,
it is
then
only based on the
Israel-
consent of the states. Yes.
No. You see, no. See, the executive authority of Uganda is vested in the president. So if Museveni achieves consent with the president of Kenya, then it means Uganda and Kenya have struck a consent. Because if international law was binding, then Israel would have stopped its human rights violations on the people.
Let me ask you a
of
question at that
Palestine.
point.
Yes.
If President Museveni and President Ruto
Yes.
agree to
Yes.
do genocide
Yes.
against a particular
Yes.
group of,
Yes.
of people in a country, would the state now sit back and allow two presidents agree to
No, you see,
perpetuate
there's a
an
difference
illegality?
between genocide and kidnapping.
Okay.
You see, so me, I don't want to kind of even to waste my time talk about the steps of extradition.
Okay.
Because as long as Besigye was arraigned in court, it ceased to matter how he came. Yes.
So,
Let me bring in Apollo here. Apollo, certainly, since we are civilians, we don't know how to manage security. There is a situation where the state, especially security agencies, will not deploy very conventional methods to create the kind of tranquility that we all of us enjoy, because these laws we know about and there is a system that we all agree with. But if at all the state, especially those that manage the security apparatus, follow entirely what the law is about, would have an enemy invade Kampala and overrun the state of Uganda in a few. Aren't we blaming the state so hard in doing some of these operations that are very sensitive, that do not have to necessarily follow due process?
Thank you very much, Banyaji. You've asked me a very good question, and I was trying to reflect something in my mind, and it has come now. One human rights activist of Rwanda, one Paul Rusesabagina, was in exile, and but then he was wanted by the Rwandan government. So he boarded a private jet, I think from South Africa, I don't remember, and he was supposed to go to Burundi. Um, upon when he was in the jet, he found himself landing in Rwanda. He boarded a private jet, paid his money to take him to Burundi, but the jet landed in Rwanda, where he was wanted. He has been wanted by Rwandan government. So this means that a state can do anything to bypass the law as long as they want someone, and that is within their powers, I would say. And then Rusesabagina was arrested, put in prison, and then later convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison because he participated. They say he participated in the genocide of 1994.
But he was rather freed and went back to the United States after international condemnation.
Later was freed. So, but now what we see here, for me, is that we have had similar cases. One of the FDC activists, okay, my man's moved out, called one Mugumia. Yes, Mugumia was arrested in DR Congo and paraded, I think, arraigned in court in DR Congo, and he was in prison for 8 years in DR Congo. He was never committed to Uganda. So this is where my thing is, if Dr. Besigye was found with a gun in Nairobi, why didn't we see him first being arrested in Kenya and then maybe tried in Kenya a little bit to see if they charge? Because I don't know, they say at immigration he didn't have a gun. When he was checking in Kenya, he didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun, and then we see him being brought back to country. Then there are other charges that we're not talking about, the other counts of making several meetings in Geneva and Athens. I had read, I think around the start of October, I had read an intelligence report about the same, and it was not only Besigye by then. In that report, they also included Honorable Chaguranyi, that he was also part of the people that were making meetings in several countries, trying to garner support to destabilize peace here in Uganda. I don't know if they have, even President Museveni talked about it actually. I don't know if they have enough evidence to prosecute these people that made those several meetings. We have not seen Chaguranyi being arrested, but we have finally seen Dr. Besigye being arrested, and that count has been mentioned on the charge sheet. So we wait to see what happens. But before that, when Ruto became the president, the chief of defense forces that we have here, the PLU leader, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, made several statements. One of them was that he was disappointed seemingly because he supported I think Raila Odinga, because for him he supported Uhuru Kenyatta, and the reason why he supported Uhuru Kenyatta is because he wanted him to go for extra time, so to amend the constitution, then they continue the way they do their thing here, which is quite absurd. So he was disappointed. Then he said, okay, for you have constitution and rule of law, for us here we have a revolution. And then we are seeing them now trying to influence revolution, or their revolution here, as they call it, to a democratic country with a democratic process. One of the further comments he made was like, he can capture Nairobi in a few days. I mean, should we say that these are some of the signals that they are already capturing Nairobi, as we say? Okay. Because if they can influence such kind of arrest, and then we see things done behind the country's back, do we say that Nairobi is being captured? For now, me, as one of the activists now, I have, until Kenya pronounces itself on how the matter was handled, I'm not going to fuel from Starbucks, and I'm not going to yes, I'm not going to fuel from Starbucks. I'm also not going to take products that we know these ones come from Kenya and manufactured in Nairobi until Kenya pronounces itself.
Let's stop for a break, and we come back to hear what Apollo to see there. All right, the big city zone. Let's kick up for a break. We're back, and we have November Love again, and other callers coming through, and we get to hear from you. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Cruise FM, great music, great friends. We're right here on Plot 12, Moti Lane, Barra City, the land of milk and honey. Now, Cruise FM is celebrating 13 years of being the best in the region. And we're taking the love this Saturday, particularly today. So don't wait for the excitement to stop right at the Elephant Lounge in Kasese, our the home Cruise FM's universe, with a non-stop energetic love from 6 p.m. And in Barra City, all roads lead to Laksa Bar and Grill for the ultimate party experience, and on the exclusive Reg Saturday, featuring an electrifying lineup of DJ Sean Davis, DJ Red Selector Marshall, and DJ Wickedest. DJ Bronny 98 and keeping up the hype alive. Zax MC and MC Levy there. And today, the people of Kasese, we all converging at Elephant Lounge for the celebration of November Love. We bringing the goodies, so be ready. Claire Inya, Baby Dosh, Kuta Michael, DJ Modern, DJ Star Saint, DJ Stinger, and every other person is going to be there. So make the party happen tonight, and I'll have still one more goodie to give away in this particular hour of the show. But a couple of people are catching the show on TV, Cruise TV, that's on YouTube. Emanze Dedas, I see you, and you're thanking Apollo there. Then Fredowa United, you are watching from Chisenye the Secret. You're appreciating the show. Tumuhimbese Furaha, you're saying, I think we should act slowly and first know why our man was arrested. And Gerard Baguma, you're watching. Nelson Agawa Stewart, you're saying good morning. Thank you for the show. I think it was not true that Dr. Besigye had a gun, since it was checked before and after entry in the two states. We need a clear explanation. And the numbers to call is 0752 912 912 and 780 912 910. I want to pick your opinion on this particular topic of discussion. Don't call wanting to get a goodie. Call to contribute on the topic. Good morning. On 0752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Call in and let's get to hear from you on what you think about the arrest of Dr. Besigye in Nairobi on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Orishaba Marcel on Facebook, you're saying Kenya is just covering up. The relations can deteriorate and the opposition gets into power. But if Museveni is still in power, nothing will happen. Twine, you're saying, to me the arrest was so disrespectful of both Kizza Besigye and the Kenyan security agencies. And Wahereza Valentine, you're listening to the show. Nwagaba Edson Nwamanya, you're saying this is not the first time Dr. Besigye is charged with such nonsensical cases. Truth will come out again. And you're listening from Kakoba there. Let me pick 1, 2, 3 calls and we get back to the panel on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. The big say.
Yes, Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Besigye.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm called Andrew Nampira, calling in from Chichamba Nyakaejo.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, on the topic of discussion this morning.
Yeah. I think you
look like you had no point. The big set.
Hello, Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Peter Clever from Uganda.
Yes, please.
Can I participate in November Love?
Call back in a few on 0752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Nwajira David says, I think General Museveni and President Ruto are playing political cards. They want Besigye to make a headline ahead of Bobby Wine, who is a threat to the NRM and President Museveni. Right there. The big set.
Good morning, Besigye and your colleagues in the studio.
Yes, good morning.
I'm good. We were talking with Kayongo Zubail, but too much Arsenal blood.
Yes, Zubail.
Yeah. The arrest of Dr. Kizza Besigye here in African countries is not new. And we are expecting more arresting to arrest those big names in politics, in Ugandan politics. especially when we are going in the elections here in Africa. Those leaders who are in control, they normally do those things to create fearness in opposition.
Okay.
So have a good morning.
All right. Thank you. Let me come back to the panel. Yes, Boenje, what were you saying before we go to that break?
Yes, I was saying that there's a doctrine called the fruits of the poisonous tree doctrine.
What does that say?
And it says that you see irrespective of the ways of the manner or the manner in which evidence has been got, still remains up to the judge to decide whether to admit the evidence or not. So so it is actually, it does not matter at all whether Dr. Kelby was kidnapped from Kenya into Uganda or not. The fact is he in a court in Uganda. Now, Dr. Besigye cannot argue that after all I'm not supposed to be here, because if you run to a foreign state now, and these two states, the former state and then the foreign state, if they reach a consent that you are wanted in the country where you are a native, it is no defense for you to pose a question, but by the way, why am I here? Why was I arrested from Kenya? So those preliminary steps of the government of Uganda calling Kenya, then there is a warrant, then you are produced in a court in Kenya. It is actually actually under international law, it doesn't matter if those steps were made or not, as long as you are in a Ugandan court. So I invite the people of Uganda to wait for the state to provide us with the evidence. But right now it is too premature for us to make a conclusion that the trial of KB in Uganda is wrong, because we are not possessed of the necessary information to understand or even make a judgment of how he came to be here. And it is also not a valid argument to say that when he was going to Kenya he didn't have a gun, and when he was coming from Kenya he didn't have a gun. It is possible that he accessed the gun while in Kenya. So it is
no, if he accessed the gun while in Kenya, I would pose the same question Apollo posed. Then why wasn't he aligned before the Kenyan courts? Because it would be against the Kenyan law.
Yeah, but also there's no evidence that it is not against the laws of Uganda, because under the UPDF Act, as long as you are a serving officer, if you commit, actually, even if you are found in unlawful possession,
if you're serving officer,
yes, you see, actually,
Besigye is not a serving officer.
it is the very person subject to military law. So the moment you have unlawful possession of UPDF stores, then whether you are in Kenya, whether now we don't know that, okay, and so we cannot presume that the pistol is not from Kenya,
okay,
or from Uganda. So as lawyers and so forth, we should I think be a little bit patient, and if the state maybe fails to adduce that kind of information, then it is then right for us to say that these charges are being brought against him in bad faith. But until then, we should not.
Yes.
We must understand two things here. As I said earlier, Besigye is a VIP, is a very important person here in this country and in the world when it comes to political issues, political stand here in this country, Uganda. And two, the statements that has been making this country as a political giant against this government and the plan A, B, C that he has after shunning elective elections. So the state has interest to know what is the plans of Besigye against this country. Now, number two, which interest does Besigye have in Kenya? Because we can see the frequency he goes there. Number three, the team that was ferried to Kenya, these younger people that they had a meeting in Kenya and they were brought back here and taken to Brazil. Very good, they have been released, most of them. Now, why can't Besigye hold meetings in this country? Chaguranyi has held meeting here, even in Barara here.
But the state,
he has even a college. He has even a political college.
But the state cannot control over how a political actor. No. A political actor must where they must hold their meetings. I can hold my meetings in Johannesburg.
Yes.
As an independent citizen.
But as the state, the state will always ask those questions. Why is Besigye frequenting Kenya? Those are all those things. We crown them together and ask ourselves for the plan B. Another thing that I want to comment is this.
Conclusively.
Yes, conclusively I'm saying this. Besigye may acquire a gun when he's in Kenya. Because you see, Besigye is a bush war hero. He knows all the tactics to acquire weapons. Clandestinely. So you may find that Kenya is a web bridge of connecting with all bad elements that would come to attack this country. We all crown, we all gather all those information and we think that something bad is going to happen. And following Besigye has no problem because it is the work of the state. And lastly, I want to say that all the plans of any person that wishes Uganda bad, there is no any other way that we can change leaders apart from elections. This angerness, this a lot of anger, when you push, when you create a lot of anger into citizenry and create a lot of hatred between Ugandans, it cannot help. The only issue is one, come back and mobilize. Then after mobilizing, win an election.
Let's come back and then I will be giving out some November goodies there, November love goodies. We'll be back after the break.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We are back, and you can be able to win yourself a shopping voucher courtesy of You Home. Now, You Home is where you get to discover everything you need to make your home complete. From TVs in every size, sound systems, air conditioners, cookers, fridges, and air fryers, washing machines, and stylish bed styles, and mattresses, sofas, beds, and everything. All you can get at a discount of up to 80% of all goods that are locally manufactured in the spirit of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. Now, this will also give you a chance to win big in the grand draw that will happen on November the 23rd, where you will get a chance to win yourself flat TVs, fridges, washing machines, phones, and much more. You can be able to visit You Home right there on High Street Place building on the first floor, right opposite Umeme, next to Adit Bookshop there. Now, you get yourself to get a shopping voucher of You Home on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. November Love.
Yes, who's the family?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Besigye. I'm Andrew. I'm back again.
Yes, Andrew, what do you want? You want to win yourself?
Yes, I want to win myself a November Love.
What's Andrew, what's your other name?
I'm called Andrew Nampurira.
Nampurira. Have you won yourself anything?
Not yet.
Who does the hit selector?
That is Baby Dosh.
Okay, when does it happen?
From 8 then to 10 p.m.
What's the social media handle of Cruise FM on X?
Social media handles on X.
Yes.
It is Cruise FM Western Uganda's biggest radio www. Cruise FM.
Wow, that is very wrong. The X handle is 912 Cruise FM.
Okay, 912 Cruise FM.
Yes. If I want to watch Cruise TV, where do I go?
You go on Cruise FM TikTok.
Let me get another person win a November Love. Andrew, you got so many things wrong. There's no one would give you this shopping voucher. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. November Love.
Yes, November Love.
Yes, what's your name?
Mugabigo Moses Chargaji Singer.
Newakwetoha?
Mugabigo Moses.
Moses?
Yes.
Your other name?
Mugabirwe.
Mugabirwe. Aha. Enyanja no jumanya?
Winjamanya munonga.
Aha. Host wenyanja no?
John Tornawe.
Aha. Kandi no manyo muntu akushoma makuru goru nyankore?
Ni manya munonga.
Ne bamweto?
Isa ngaberano tegerwana.
Mpe namba yawe.
Zero mushaje mukaga.
Mukaga mirundi eshatu?
Mukaga imirundi ebiri.
Aha.
13.
13.
Chanana na mwenda. 28.
Aha, 28 wagira ngo waterera nkai?
Charugajo
Isinjo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Let me get Rubarema. As we get out of studio, you now know that the state is watching, and the long arm of the state to pick you up from anywhere that you commit all these crimes from. What does it mean for you as a political party now, knowing that the state is very determined to stop you in all your negative intentions to destabilize the security of our country?
You see, thank you, my Mr. Moderator and listeners. There are 4 tools the dictatorial regimes like Uganda normally use. One is the fear factor. Secondly is making people poor like it is in Uganda nowadays. 3 is militarization. And the 4th one is monetarization. And we are aware of that. Maybe to my friend Katamba, who is busy telling people that Besigye could have gotten a gun in Kenya, could have aided taking it there. I don't know whether the gun was belonged to UPDF or any other country. And there are 3 ways of removing a government, Bwana Katamba, if you didn't know. So, zeroing on one of the 3 ways is quite long. Because Museveni contested in 1980 and lost miserably. I went to the bush. But the 3rd one, that our friends, our great fathers and great grands did to the imperialists, of cutting aids with them, failing to pay taxes, what we call civil disobedience. Like my friend of Auntie had pronounced, even if I find my son or my daughter going to Starbucks to buy fuel or to buy kerosene, I would not kindly ask him. I would harshly tell him to take it back. Because I don't see a reason.
But after the 2011 election, you organized and asked Ugandans to reject products that companies like MTN and all that, and Ugandans rejected your advice, and they went ahead
who tells you they rejected?
Because they continued to consume the products of those companies.
Now let me tell you, much as it is not in order.
If it is not, don't say it.
I mean, I will say it, because the day one of the managers of Radio West came to Boma and told and brought back our payment, when we told the Ugandans to cut ties with the government. In 1 week, Vision Group made millions of losses, until they just came back on their knees and told Doctor, come back and have a talk show, of which he gave them an order, of which he gave them an order not to pass any kalango within his 2-hour talk show.
Yes,
and lastly, I'm glad to hear my friends giving their biased and malicious statements on issues that affect the country. Today is Doctor and Kamlegea. Tomorrow could be you.
Okay.
You say mayor of Tenjojo complaining over land. He's a mayor, not even a councillor, but a mayor.
Okay.
So issues affecting the nationals should be dealt with an iron hand, and we push the dictator out of our way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanyaji. In my closing remarks, of course, we did not dissect the fact that civilians can be tried in the military court-martial, I think tribunal, something. It's like a disciplinary committee. Council of Wenje says, according to UPDF Act, I saw them quoting, I think, section 117, that if you're in possession of munitions or guns or stores of the UPDF, then you can be tried in the military court-martial. But then we know that there is a constitutional court ruling, that civilians, if you're not a member of the UPDF, you're not supposed to appear before that court. And then what the government did through the Attorney General was to appeal the ruling to the Supreme Court. And 3 good years down the road, the Chief Justice Alfonso Owinidoro is still seated on that appeal. He is personally responsible for all Ugandans that are being tormented by this court, that are being he should take a rule. He should take a decision. Why would it take him 3 good years? This is a court. This is an appeal, a case that has an interest of every Ugandan, because we've seen people being paraded before that court. And once you appear that court, you don't expect good things from there. It is supposed to discipline the UPDF officer. So I really want to call upon the judiciary, something to do with what you introduced because this was also kind of part of our second topic, that President Museveni wants those people who are involved in stealing PDM money not to be granted bail. We want independence of the 3 arms of government. Let President Museveni stay in his executive line, but he should not interfere with the processes of the court, if at all, because even if he lost an election, in the next year we will have these other systems continue running, so he doesn't have to sit in the judiciary, to sit at the home of legislature arm, and then again be the one to give executive orders. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Unfortunately, I will not Movunya in a second, just for
yes. I would
in a second, really.
Yes, please. I want to end by saying that all what we do, we look at where Uganda is affected. Number one, Uganda has not run shortage of leaders. That's the number one. Has not run shortage of leaders. Okay. The leader is
let's there. Meet next Saturday on the Big Seat. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.
Wabula, but the day